Everyone, it's Jill Gillespie, and I've just put together just a real quick little flow class to just wake you up if you've been sitting around and just want to move for a little bit. For this practice, I'm having a blanket here for cushioning under my butt when I'm sitting, or knees when we're in our kneeling postures. And then I have a chair set off to the end of my mat just to help with transitions and balance if I need that, but it's optional. So let's go ahead and start in a comfortable seat, maybe using the blanket under our hips for a little bit of support. And once you find the place to sit, begin building your foundation here. So really feel your hips in your foundation, drawing your belly in and up to create that long spine and structure in your core. Stack your shoulders over your hips, releasing out of your ears. And then imagine a string pulling the crown of your head toward the ceiling. And then your hands can rest in your lap, face down for grounding, face up for receiving. Just whatever feels right in this moment. And then begin to breathe. Just taking notice of how you're feeling right now. Keeping your breath continuous. Exhaling out and then inhaling right back in again. In this place, you might notice thoughts swirling around. And maybe in the midst of all of the chaos and all of the thoughts, maybe some words are coming out. And maybe you have a theme or an intention in your mind for your class today. Use that intention as your anchor. When your mind starts to wander, or when you're struggling with your foundation throughout class, let this intention bring you back to yourself. During this class and off your mat later on. Now, if your eyes close during this process, you might flutter them back open again here. And release your hands down to your sides. And then inhale them both up overhead, look up. Exhale, let them come down. And just move with your breath a few times, inhaling up. And exhaling it down. Inhaling up. And exhaling them down. Now walk your hands behind you so you can lean back and switch the cross of your legs to the weird side. And then reconnect with that foundation, hips into the ground, belly in and up, shoulders over hips. And now leave your right hand on the floor next to you and inhale your left arm up. And then exhale and bend it over to your side. And here we breathe space and openness into the left side of our body. So inhale and find more space. And exhale, breathe into your ribs and your side. And maybe you'll walk your right hand a little farther away to give yourself room to continue to bend. And press your hand into the floor to encourage your left hip to stay connected to the floor here. And inhale, lift yourself back through center. And then switch so your left hand comes down, your right hand stretches, and then exhales over to the left side. And keep your shoulders stacked as much as possible in this shape. It's not a dumping. There's a lot of space here. Inhale to find more space. Exhale to settle in a little bit more. Maybe walking that left hand a little farther away. And pressing the hand into the floor to encourage that right hip to stay down. And then firming up your core and using that energy to lift you back to center. And release your hands down, placing them behind you again, letting your legs come free. And this time just windshield wipering your knees back and forth a little bit. We'll move into our tabletop position next. And so we'll come to hands and knees, maybe keeping the blanket under our knees for a little bit of cushioning here. Starting with stacking our wrists under our shoulders, our knees under our hips, and then fine-tuning here so we can find our most comfortable variation of this pose. And then reconnecting with our foundation, drawing our belly in and up. Imagining the crown of our head pulling away from our body. And then on your next inhale, lift your head and your tailbone and look forward, sway back. And then exhale, switch, send your back up to the sky and close off. And then continue moving back and forth on your breath, inhaling, heart forward, open, exhaling, closing off. Try to imagine that your pelvic tilting is what's initiating the movement and the rest of your body is just along for the ride. Now come back through neutral. Reconnect with your foundation here. You might walk your knees a little bit more under your body to be stable here. And then send your left foot out behind you, planting the balls of your toes onto the floor. Maybe rocking back and forth a little bit here. And then firm up your foundation, root your hands into the floor, core engaged. Lift that leg up to hip height. And then inhale to prepare. And exhale, bend the knee, bring it outside of your left shoulder. Inhale back. And then exhale to the shoulder and back. And then exhale to the shoulder, hold. Walk your left hand in just a little bit to give your foot enough room to come around and plant here. And we'll set up our lunge foundation, ankle under knee, energetically drawing our hips toward the midline of our body so our front hip comes back, our back hip comes forward. And then we stack our shoulders over our hips here, belly in and engaged. Now to work with our balance, our front foot can move wider or narrower, that's a word there. And if this feels good, we can tuck our back toes And fire everything up and lift that back knee. And then reconnect with the energy lines. Bring everything toward the midline. And we'll add some repetitions here. Inhale, reach up, straighten your leg. Exhale, sit into that lunge. Reconnect. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, sit. Now we'll add a twist. Inhale. Now first exhale, cactus arms, bending at the elbow. Inhaling, and then exhaling, twisting toward our front leg, and then opening our arms to a T. Inhaling back through center. Exhale, cactus. Inhale up, and exhale, twist and open. Back through center. Cactus. Inhale. Exhale, twist, hold. And breathe. How's our foundation? Now back through center. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands down. Bring that back knee down. Come back to your tabletop. And now from here, scoot your knees back a little bit. Root your palms into the floor. Broaden your shoulders. Kneeling plank. Engage that belly. Draw it in toward your spine. And this might be your work here. Or you might tuck your toes and lift up to plank. And just breathe. And then exhale, knees down. Maybe sit your hips back a little bit and wiggle them side to side. Now we'll find our tabletop position again here. Set up our foundation, draw our belly in. And now we'll inhale, we'll tilt and open. And then exhale, tilt and close off again. And then inhale, open. And then exhale, close. And then come back through neutral. Maybe bring your knees under your body a little bit. And this time, step your right foot back. Balls of the toes on the floor. Maybe rock back and forth a little bit here. And then fire everything up. Squeeze those glutes. Lift that leg up to hip height. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, bend that knee. Bring it outside your right shoulder. Inhale back. And then exhale, bring it over. Inhale back. And then exhale, bring it out to the side, hold. Maybe bring your right hand in just a little bit to allow room for your foot to come forward. We'll start with our kneeling lunge setup here. Ankle, knee, hips drawing together, belly drawing in, shoulders stacking over hips. Just really drawing the energy to the midline of our body. Everything's just going. And then we inhale our arms up overhead. And then we tuck our back toes. We fire up that back knee. And here we make our adjustments in our standing lunge. And on an inhale, we straighten and reach for the sky, and exhale, sit into our lunge. And inhale, straighten, and then sit into our lunge. And then inhale, straighten everything up. And then exhale, sit into our lunge. Reconnect with our foundation. Make any adjustments. Now inhale to prepare again. Exhale, cactus. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, twist toward your front leg. Open your arms. Inhale back through center. Cactus. Inhale up, exhale, twist. Inhale back through center, cactus. And then twist on your exhale and hold. How's that foundation? Drawing everything toward the center. Now inhale back up. Exhale, lower your hands and that back knee. We'll set up for our kneeling plank. Again, rooting our palms into the floor, starting with our shoulders over our wrists, really plugging everything back into the socket there, and then maybe tucking the toes and lifting the knees. Core engaged, belly drawing in. Continue to breathe. And then exhale, lower. And now this time walk your hands back. So you're just kneeling at the back of your mat, or if this is uncomfortable, you can just come to seated. And then inhale your arms up overhead. And exhale and clasp your hands behind your back. Or just bring them as close as you can with your hands down your back. And just roll your shoulders open and broad. And just find some opening here. So your hands pull down and away from your shoulders, and your shoulders are rolling back. And now exhale and release. And we'll come to seated here. And so I had to crawl to read my notes. I'm sorry about that. So just come to seated where you are at the back of your mat right now. And if the blanket wants to come under your butt for a little bit of height, that's beautiful. Sometimes it helps to pull the flesh out from under your butt and then scoot a little forward, and that gives you a little bit more height. And we can sit with our feet a little wide here to give ourselves some room to fold. And we flex our toes, we keep energy moving down our legs. We inhale our arms up overhead. Exhale, lean forward a little bit. Maybe scooting ourselves out of the way so we can lean a little more forward. Just letting our hands rest on our legs wherever they land. And so we're keeping our spine long. We're not rounding in our back right now. And now inhale, come up about halfway, find your long spine again. And then exhale, fold. And release that. And now scoot toward the middle of your mat. And then we'll roll down to our backs here. Taking as much time as you need. And then once your back is on the floor, you can hug your knees into your chest here. Just rock back and forth a little bit. And then release your hands down to the floor and keep your knees and your shins up toward the ceiling. And keeping your core engaged, let your knees drop to the right. And then fire up your core and let your knees drop to the left. And just on your breath, inhaling through the center and exhaling to the other side. Just find a little flow with your knees here. And as you move, if there's any place that feels particularly like it needs a little extra stretch, you can pause in that place. And then fire up your core and come back and finish off the other side. And then back through center. Hugging everything in one last time. You can even hug your head up if you want to join the hug party here. And then if your chair is nearby, you might choose a variation of legs up the wall for your Shavasana, where you scoot a little closer to the chair and let it support your calves and your feet as you lay on the floor. And the pillow might feel nice under your head, or the pillow might feel nice under your hips. There's a little bit of an inversion, getting your hips up over your heart a little bit there. And then your heart then over your head. So just breathe. Our world feels a little upside down sometimes. But no matter what, our stable foundation is always there for us. It's always there to support us, whether we're right side up or upside down. We just have to breathe and remember that it's there. And we remember all of the things that are there to support us. It helps us not be as afraid. Take all the time you need in this place. And come back to a seated position very gently when you're ready to end your practice. But I will leave you here for now. Send gratitude to yourself for taking this time to practice. And do something to honor yourself and your body, just as it is right now.